Hello fellow Cravers, we are halfway through the look back of 2021 and it seems things sort of pick up in this next 6 months. So let's get on with it as we look into July, August and September. With us heading into July, we were expecting some of the usual things with PAX going online and GDC following suit, as it seems this may be the norm when it comes to gaming expos in the future. But the biggest news story to drop this month was the fallout of Activision Blizzard, as the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing initiated a lawsuit against one of the industry's biggest publishers. The lawsuit came after a 2-year investigation asserting the company maintained a hostile workplace that discriminated and harassed female employees. This led to thousands of employees signing onto an open letter and performing a walkout demanding management to take appropriate reaction. As for the games in July, we start off with one of the indie darlings of the year in the form of Death's Door, an action-adventure game where you take the role of a small crow who works as a reaper collecting souls for the Reaping Commission headquarters. You start off with a mission to collect the soul of a monster who does not want to leave life willingly. Once defeating it, a large old crow intervenes and steals the soul before telling you of a potential conspiracy regarding the disappearance of other crows, leading you into having to make your way through 3 dungeons to collect 3 giant souls to unlock Death's Door. The game ended up getting mainly positive reviews, with many likened its aesthetics to Dark Souls games, but with a lighter tone and a gentler learning curve. Another game to take our interest in July was the return of the courtroom bizarreness from the world of Phoenix Wright, this time taking us back to where it all really began. The great Ace Attorney has us take the role of Phoenix Wright's ancestor Ryunosuke Naruhodo as the dawn of the 20th century, who has, like Phoenix Wright, a strong sense of justice, yet seems to find himself endangered too easily. As for how the game plays itself, it is very familiar vibe to the original games in this franchise, as you search for clues to help you solve cases, that you have to try and prove that whoever is in your protection is innocent. The only main difference is that you're not trying to convince just one person this time, as you have to get a majority of the jury on your side. Again, this game got generally favourable reviews, but it is a game that, if you're a fan of the Phoenix Wright series, it's a must buy, as you are getting the same vibes from this. Moving to the end of the summer, it had us with a few struggling expos, most notably Europe's biggest in the form of Gamescom, but it seems that there was still the shadow cast from the lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, as at the beginning of the month, then current president J. Allen Brack ended up leaving the company due to the lawsuit. But that was not the only big name to leave Blizzard. This included Diablo 4's lead designer Jesse McCree, who ended up having Activision Blizzard also change the character name on behalf of him in Overwatch to have his name changed to Cole Cassidy. But it's not all lawsuits that caught the gaming news this month, as again, a certain country, not naming names, ended up bringing in a law to restrict people under the age of 18 to play video games only up to 3 hours a week. If that happened in a country that has a bit more freedom, you would definitely see Fortnite and Roblox erased from the public eye. Now, time to move on to August games, as we start off with the next title in a franchise that was completely over the top, completely off the wall, and left me more bloodthirsty than any game has done for a long time, while still denying me that sweet, sweet boss fight. Oh, the game is No More Heroes 3. Exclusively on the Nintendo Switch, No More Heroes 3 is an action-adventure hack-and-slash game set in the fictional city of Santa Destroy. You take the role of the professional assassin Travis Touchdown, as he must defend the world from a powerful army of alien invaders led by the galactic overlord Prince Fu, and his 9 soldiers who adopt her faux superhero appearance. The game follows the same trend as other games in the franchise, You go take out some small missions to gain entry to the fight, to the next ranking invader, to gain their ranking any means necessary. The game got favourable reviews, but in the end, from my point of view, the game was a lot of fun, even though it had brought me many months of rage, which you can see in the playlist in the details below. But that was not the only game to take over our streams this summer, as we also had the return of Raz in Psychonauts 2. A game that so many were looking forward to come back, as it ended up being successfully funded on Fig, a crowdfunding site, raising nearly $4 million by the beginning of 2016. The game then got picked up by Microsoft, as Double Fine ended up getting acquired by them in 2019. The game itself, well, it continues from where the VR game left off, as we see the Psychonauts en route to the Mother Lobe. After capturing Lobato and recovering the comatose body of Truman, trying to find out who Lobato is working for, they end up going into his mind, but seems this psyche is secured against their efforts. When Raz seeing a vision of a woman who Sasha identifies as Molecular, a cruel hydrokinetic who flooded and destroyed the capital of Grulovia, Raz's ancestral home. The game itself got mostly positive reviews, with it being nominated for many awards, winning Xbox Game of the Year at the Golden Joystick Awards, and nominated in Ultimate Game of the Year in the same awards, and of course Game of the Year in the Game Awards. Finally, for August, we have a game that left many shocked, for a game we all thought would be a game that we all would forget when it was first announced. Yes, 12 Minutes has you take the role of an unnamed husband as you return home to his apartment after work, as you are greeted by your wife, who surprises you with the announcement that she is pregnant. While celebrating, you are interrupted by a man claiming to be a cop with the intention to arrest your wife and yourself for the murder of her father. After this, things restart with only the husband knowing of past events. You have to try and then figure out what is going on and stopping the events of your wife's arrest. The game is on this list because of one thing in particular, and that is the twist, which we are going to be keeping secret. Let's just say that the game had made me question everything we had done and what we had not done up to that point. So, we start to dive into the gaming season. But before we get into that, let's talk about a bit of gaming news for September, as we start off with another acquisition, as this time it was from somewhere we'd least expect it, with Netflix acquiring Night School Studios, who are famed for Oxenfree and After Party. This was the first game studio Netflix had acquired, with the Streaming Kings officially launching its game services in November for Android and iOS in the US of this time. Talking about Apple, we also got our outcome from the trial between themselves and Epic in September, with Apple being given a permanent injunction preventing them from blocking apps that included links to third-party payment system, meaning that we all will see more services that we've been wanting to see on the iPhone and iPad, for example, like Xbox Cloud Gaming. Okay, now let's move on to September's games, as we start off with a game that had been making its rounds on the Expo circuit for many years, as Deathloop finally dropped this month on the PC and PlayStation 5. The game has you take control of Colt, an assassin stuck in a time loop who had been tasked to take out 8 targets called the Visionaries across the island before midnight, as leaving just one of them alive would have caused the time loop to reset, undoing all of his work. Oh, also, if Colt was to die also before taking out the 8, this would also restart the time loop, making things a little bit more interesting, as you're not the only one on the hunt, as so is Juliana, who has only one target, and that's yourself. The one big feature of this game is involving Juliana, as if you opt into it, Juliana can be a bit more unpredictable, as she can be controlled by another player. Of course, if you don't opt into this, Juliana is still around, but instead will be controlled by a computer. So the game ended up becoming extremely popular, with it being nominated for multiple awards, walking away with the Critics' Choice Award from the Golden Joysticks, and the Best Game and Art Direction from the Game Awards. Next, we have the return of the most popular collection of microgames in gaming as we return to WarioWare Inc. to get it together. Like other Wario games, you are tasked with completing a number of microgames, each within a couple of seconds. But unlike other games in the franchise, each objective can be completed differently depending on which character you are controlling at the time. For example, Wario will fly around on a jetpack and perform a soldier charge, while 18-Volt flies CDs from a stationary position, moving around by hooking onto rings. The game got favourable reviews, with Game Informer calling the game creative, but felt the game was limited due to making each game playable for each character. The game ended up being nominated for Best Family Game at the Game Awards. Finally, we have the next game in the Life is Strange universe, as this time we are shown how powerful our emotions can truly be. True Colours has you take control of Alex Chan, who has left a foster care group after 8 years to reunite with her brother Gabe in Haven Springs, Colorado. While showing her around, they are interrupted by Park Ranger Ryan, who advises that someone had gone missing, having them search the mountains, and Gabe calling Typhoon, the primary employment of the town, a mining company, to call off a blast in the area. Unfortunately, the blast still goes off, resulting in a landslide, killing Gabe. Just like any other game in the series, this has you going around the town finding out how this had happened and who was to blame for her brother's death. The game ended up becoming highly popular around most of the world, apart from a certain country who attempted and, as usual, failed to review bomb the game due to the inclusion of the flag of Tibet. Still, the game ended up getting nominated for many awards, with it walking away with the Golden Joysticks Best Storytelling Award and the Games Awards Games for Impact Award. So, the last video of 2021, and yet we still have 3 more months to talk about tomorrow, including records broken and returns from some classics, and of course, some games, always games. So please comment, like, and subscribe to us here. And I hope you all have a happy new year, and until 2022, to be continued.